Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Talk with G. And if you know G, if you know me, if you're my friend, you know that G likes reading books. And today I've invited my friends over, whom I met from a book club in my campus. So I'll welcome them to introduce themselves. You're welcome.
Hey G, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I am Srinija and this is my first talk show.
Mhm.
I am a fourth year undergraduate. I graduated.
I envy you. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I've been reading books since I can remember, and being here on a book talk show is like a dream come true for me. So thank
I'm
you.
happy to have you.
Thank you.
Maybe one day we'll be having a very big book clubs together.
Definitely.
Okay, and then I have another one.
Hi, this is Aryan, and I'm in second year right now. I'm the vice president of Geetham Book Club.
That's why I met you. You forced me. I mean, not actually forced. You
I think it was
convinced
in
me.
student life office.
Yeah, like you convinced me to join the books club.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like,
remember
oh, do
that.
people
It was
read?
on Engineers Day, right?
Yeah, it was Engineers Day. I was like, oh, so people read books in this school too. Yeah, I was so
We
happy to
conducted some
find you.
activities.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
Yeah, that was a nice one. So, and moving forward, we would like to discuss maybe how did we start reading, and maybe if you still remember the first book that you ever read.
Yes.
So, how did you start reading?
So my family reads a lot. My dad, my sister, they read a lot.
Okay.
So growing up, I always saw them with books.
Mhm.
When we go on vacation, they always come with 2 or 3 books. So that got me into reading. I remember the first book I ever picked up was by R.L. Stein. It was Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Yes, I was hooked. The first book I ever read was it's called The Son of Slappy. So it was about this evil ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
It was really fun reading, and yeah, I never put a book down after that.
That's very nice. And what about you?
So actually, my family don't read. It's only my grandfather.
Yeah, it's not in
It's
your
not a
DNA.
comparison.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was actually my friend who suggested me one book called Ikigai. It was
Ikigai.
before COVID.
Yeah.
So I started reading that, and actually before reading book I was very hyper kid, you can say.
Mm-hmm.
After reading Ikigai, it made me realize many things. It made me realize about my observation ability that I have, that I observe a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
whenever I talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a bad habit, but I still do it. And I
Mhm.
get to know a lot of people by that and their behavior.
Mhm.
So it's like a gem to me by
Okay.
knowing other people's behavior.
Okay, and you know the funniest part about me and how did I start reading? Okay, it came from my dad. He's like an intellectual person. Like he tried to raise us in a way that we read, we go to school, we do this. Like he wanted to see his kids doing the right things, and he made sure that the time we spend at home after school was divided. Maybe we can have some leisure time, but also we should do some reading. He had his bookshelves, and there are plenty many old books, but this was my first book I ever read. The Gifted Hands
What is
by
it about?
Ben Carlson. This is a black American neurosurgeon. He is maybe expecting to join his political career. He moved from being a failing student to being the first neurosurgeon who did the separation of conjoined twins in US.
Okay.
So like yeah, that was like a biggest achievement, and this was my first book to read, and I love it because you know growing up I thought maybe I'll become a doctor or something, of which I am not. Yeah, I'm doing engineering now, so yeah, that's how I started reading.
It's your passion.
Yeah, yeah. So here we are.
The current book that you're reading right now?
Okay, actually my like the way I pick books is not so systematical.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll be on Instagram scrolling, then I'll get ads from a bookstore. Maybe there would be maybe some sales on
Influencer.
books. Yeah.
Suggesting books,
Mhm,
right? I
mhm.
can get that.
So yeah, lately I was like 2 weeks ago I was on Instagram, then I got this suggestion from this guy. I mean this Colin Hoover. So
It's not
I'm
with us.
reading it. Starts with us
I've
and
heard a
it
lot
ends
about
with
it.
us. Actually, this is the second part. So this is the first part. It ends
Okay.
with us, then it starts with us. This is what I'm currently reading.
That's a great book.
Yeah.
What about you, Srinija? What are you reading currently?
So I am reading The Cousins. It's a thriller mystery. So it's about this family who gets drifted away from their mother, and they try to reconnect with her through their children. It's a mystery. They've done something in their past that still haunts them, and these kids are paying price for that and all of that. So in the book, we're trying to find out what the parents did and how it's going to affect the kids. I got the book yesterday and I'm excited to finish it.
That's
You
great.
just started.
I just started it.
Wow.
This genre I've never read. Thriller. It's
Really?
actually I have never read a thriller
You should
genre.
definitely try. It keeps you flipping pages.
I've only read some drama.
Yeah. Thing I know about book readers is that we don't have one favorite book. Like time over time, once you pick one book to read, it will become your favorite. Then the next one will become your next favorite. So I can't ask us to mention maybe our favorite books, but I would like us to pick maybe one crucial lesson that you've ever learned from maybe one of your favorite books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is not really one of my favorite books, but growing up, I read a lot of Nancy Drew. So
Yeah.
Nancy Drew is this child detective. She tries and goes on adventures and around her colony and streets. So the one thing I learned from her is that she never says no to adventure. So I try and be more like her. I try to not say no to adventure, but sometimes I do. But that's one thing I'd like to learn from her, and I did. She also learns all the time, so she's a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
So she doesn't stop learning. She always finds new stuff to, explore and get her toes into. So that's something that I learned from Nancy Drew.
Okay, that's good. And what about you?
So there are a lot of books that are my favorite, but the recent book that I read was No Longer Human. It is written by a Japanese author. It's a very complex name, so I forgot that. But I can tell you about that book. It's about a person who is confused between two things. It's about like his traditional cultures colliding with the Western modernity.
Okay.
Like he feels like he's not a human. He's not qualified to be a human. It's like that. So it's all about the journey that he's going to experience by knowing other people. How are they confused, what he is experiencing right now. So it's all about the journey of that person we are talking here. It's like a No Longer Human.
Okay. The book that maybe I can call it my favorite at the moment is Hold On But Don't Hold Still by Christina Kumzi. The lesson that I very picked from that book is about the way she tried to portray how she raised her kid and how she helped him to overcome failures. So I think as we are growing up, we keep making mistakes, and it's very important if you can find people who can guide you and help you how to overcome those mistakes. And for her kid, it was about school grades and her showing that part of being a great mom, teaching him how to overcome that stage. And it really made me feel comfortable. I was like, at that moment, I'm like, I wish this was maybe my mom at this point. So I'm not saying my mom hasn't been great, but that kind of parenting was so good.
I want to know how reading improved your lifestyle. Personally, for me, reading has improved my vocabulary, general knowledge, and it reduces stress basically. So I read for stress relief. So
It makes you calm. Also.
It's a
it
good
makes me a
mechanism.
calm person.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how has reading improved your lifestyle?
I think Aryan, you should go first. How
Sure.
did reading improve your lifestyle?
Okay, fine. So the first book that I already told you that I was reading, it actually changed me a lot because the first thing that I told you that I was a very hyper kid and never knew what should I do. I was just roaming around, but when the COVID hit, no one was out. I was like, sitting in a room doing nothing because
Yeah.
I never did anything inside the room.
Mm-hmm.
I was always out.
Mm-hmm.
So starting a book has actually made me calmer person,
Okay.
and it made me realize many things. And one of the things that I would like to tell you is about my overthinking abilities.
Okay.
So if you're reading an Ikigai book and if you're an overthinker, it's gonna help you a lot. It can make you realize many things that you have experienced but never realized it.
Okay.
So if you're overthinking, you will realize it and you will like the Ikigai book. It is awesome. So these are the two things that was a major impact on me. So what about you? Ji?
When it comes back to me, actually, reading has improved my lifestyle in so many ways. It has helped me to utilize the me time. Because sometimes when you're clouded, reading requires silence and peace of mind. So most of the time when you're doing the reading, you should be alone. So it helped me to spend more time with myself. And when you're reading, it's like you're getting this photographic memory. You're able to envision, like to see what is happening on the scene. It's like it increases your
Like a movie's
thinking
playing in your
capacity.
head.
Yeah. So I think my thinking capacity improved. My grammar also improved. I spent more time with myself. Like it was. I think these are the three things
It's very
that.
therapeutic.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic. You can even do books when you're feeling a little bit stressed or falling out of space.
So if
So.
you're reading a drama-based novel, you can imagine it's like a movie running in your mind,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's the good part about reading. Okay, coming to the very end of our discussion with my friends from Books Club, I would like to ask them maybe what kind of genre do you prefer when it comes to reading, and maybe if you would recommend any book to anyone who is watching us right now.
Yes. So
She's
I'll go
starting off.
first.
Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead.
Yeah.
So I generally read thriller and mystery, horror
Okay.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I read all the genres possible. So I read fantasy, I read romance, I read mystery, thriller, and horror. So the horror part stuck to me. So the one book that I would recommend to anybody who's watching is this book by Riley Sager. It's called Home Before Dark. It's about this haunted mansion. You're gonna love it. Just read the blurb online.
Uh, the book I would like to recommend.
Mm-hmm.
There is one author named Leo Tolstoy. Uh, he's a very great writer, and there is one book called The 100 Short Stories by Leo Tolstoy. So it's all metaphorically, and it will realize you many great outcomes from it. If you read that book, it's a s- it's a it's a great book, I can say, and many stories that you will like and you will take a great outcome from it. And my favorite genre when I first started reading it was Ikigai, so it's technically psychological and drama related because the first book that I read was The Book Thief, The Book Thief,
Okay.
and it was a great book.
All right, so coming back to me, I have three favorite genres. Drama, comedy, obvious, and then when it comes to another one, it's romantic. And in that section, I would recommend you to read Anna Todd books. She's good. Yeah, like the Actor series and everything.
Sorry, good.
And then, but most of the times, I like to pick biographical books. Like I want to see or to dig deeper into somebody's life, like the author's life. So that's why most of my books it will be Will by Will Smith, maybe The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama, Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I'm going to recommend you if you like reading today, you should find this book called Finding Me by Viola Davis. It's so great and you're gonna like it.
I love Viola Davis. She is the best. I've seen her in How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
She's a superwoman.
Yeah, if you want to know more and to dig deep in her life,
It's on my TBR.
Yeah. So Finding Me will be the best pick for you. And reading, I would recommend reading to every one of you. It will improve a lot of qualities that you have inside you that you never knew that they existed. So I got a family from a books club here, and I'm happy to have them.
We're happy to
We're
have you.
happy.
Yeah. You're welcome one more time. I don't know when, but I hope I'll have you again.
Sure. Can't wait.
Yeah. So thank you for being with us. Bye
Bye.
bye.